think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Week 5 NECC Rocket League begins right now, and we're excited to have you joining us, Mr. Monkey Man. My name is Bear Lights, and we are having some insane Rocket League matches here today. Mr. Monkey Man, how you feeling tonight? Ready for this Week 5 action?
I'm feeling very Flappy Bird. I gotta tell you, Bear. This first one that's up on.
Yeah.
I know, I'm feeling very flappy. I feel like we're flying. I don't think that birds really do this unless you're a penguin. I've seen them get real angry and shake their feathers at it. Actually, they kind of slap at themselves. But either way, I am so excited about what we're going through because this is the downhill skid of the regular season. We're in week number 5 of the totality. I think it's like 7 to 8 weeks, and that means that everyone has gotten rid of all the rust, all the dust, everything that was on the controller, liquids and all. They've found their way to get in the game into a mindset for some success or into a way that they have to get the season back in order. Our first 2 teams that are up on the docket here, Bear, I think they're very much in control.
Let's see them right now. We'll take a look at the battle that we've got ahead of us. Usually casters are like, hey, this is a matchup that's gonna be super, super close. Like it's a battle of like titans, things like that. These are 2 4-0 teams battling it out for number 1. So yes, we will have the best of the best to kick it off here in the East B portion of the Division 2 NECC Rocket League side of things. Condors Esports bringing in Chunk, 80, and Cyber facing off with those Daytona State Esports squad.
Yeah, you got the Falcons bringing in Sule, Lefty, and Ian. And like you mentioned, both these teams very much into that 4-0 margin. It is a difference not just of, razor-thin margins, but also how far up on the East Coast you want to travel. All the way in Conestoga, bruh, for the Condors. And then down in Florida for Daytona State. So the winner here very much has a bid to basically keep their number 1 seed into the remainder of these next couple of weeks, especially as I think the next teams up here, Bear, are 2 games behind. So the 1-2 race, very important, especially tonight. Best of 7 online and alive. Let's go into game number 1.
2 teams, leave it all on the pitch. Begins now, which bird team will get out to the hot start? It'll be Condors. Out early as 80 will get it off the feed from Chunk.
Massive just kind of takeaway. You also have Chunk just skidding that one like it had Gorilla Tape stuck to the floor, but traveling just at Mach 5 to get across the corner. So that one going to be a very early lead. Took about 7 seconds. Big thing that didn't mention into the pre-show here, Bear. Condors, this is a team that missed the playoffs by 1 spot in the fall. Daytona State, this is their first entry into the NECC.
Time to show themselves here. Daytona State. What do you have to offer for Condors? Of course, it's looking like this season definitely trending in the right direction, but you always want to keep that momentum flowing because really the best teams, no matter where you go into the playoffs, are the ones that have that streak continue through the second half of the season too, which makes that week 5 mark really pivotal, and that's why you'll see both of these teams off from the rip, ready to play, ready to compete, and back at each other 1 for 1.
I like that we're getting your wheels turning, getting your engines hot, and looking for some just general handoff shots. They've been kind of leaving this one into the middle of the pitch, even if it's just kind of a run down and lift, seeing if you can win a challenge and maybe a 50-50. It's been working out a time or two, but that first shot and that first goal in the first 7 seconds feels like a year ago as we go down to minute number 2.
And stay plugged in, the leading esports recruiting platform for high school students looking for the college level. Ian has won Carry to College, the biggest online event. So that hosts some of the best in high schools, multi-champion of that avenue. So Ian is certainly somebody I'm keeping an eye on here as one of the youngsters coming in as a freshman. We'll see if they can make an impact play. And in fact, you see them working into it. Daytona State Esports get into the box, but they're not able to quite break through as Cyber will just queer it out. In fact, wins this 50-50 off the crossbar. But somehow Daytona State and the Falcons able to get out.
Hey, that Coco also not at all batting an eye, having to just pick up after their their defensive line. But Cyber will make them blink twice. That's a second goal for Conestoga College as the Condors. I mean, that's a great 50-50, and Cyber calls off 80 in just the nick of time.
Yeah, perfectly called over, so the communication was on point, and that angle was pretty nasty there. So you want to be able to hit those and really start to feel yourselves, get that level of confidence rolling. And right now, it is certainly been the case for Conestoga, as Daytona State will look to try to find their first mark themselves. Once you start to get one, you start to see them flow. But right now, it's Condors with another Pressure moment. Ian able to bail them out yet again with a big save. He'll have to do it again with an extra touch. It'll be Solis to finally get out to midfield, but they're giving possession right back to the Condors, as we've seen a couple of times in this game one.
You know, Ian has a second talent that maybe you did or did not know, but I'm going to hold that thought as we get a great 1-2 combination between 80 and Cyber. Cyber gets a great challenge down to get that demolition, but it's going to be the calm on the goal line that Daytona will persist with. But that 4-4-5, it made me realize this Ian is also a snow day main. Dude loves to play with the puck as much as he does with the ball.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up too, because forget who else was on that team, but they were actually like pretty prestigious. They were even at the RLCS level, they weren't quite able to break through the top 16 frequently, but I think they did it once. If not, I know they were the top 32 for a couple of splits there last season. So, I mean, nobody to bat an eye out by any means. And, I mean, looking to spark this team right now. There's nothing doing for Daytona State, but it's just a matter of one player that can really get things going, even if it is a youngster.
Ian's going to call up the second effort. Third man will come through, and then will be dropped at the goal line, right at the pipeline. Cyber will get there. Ian as well. It's to the backboard. Big demo. Cyber, can they get it to the third eventually? 5 shots later, they're able to get it done. They cut this lead in half.
That play had speed, it had physicality, all from the back of Ian. And when the first one doesn't land, you want to have that support. It was a risky move to bring your third up when every single member of the Falcons were in the box, but sometimes you got to do it, and that was the right time to commit to a dangerous play like that, to be able to cut this lead in half and put yourself within arm's reach.
Oh, but the dump from Chunk. I believe that means that everyone has scored at this point. We'll be able to check the stat line, but Cyber just runs it up the wall, and very timely for the Condors to snuff out any would-be comeback momentum.
Yeah, that it would be, because Cyber had the last one, so all 3 members of the Condors getting on the board.
There you go.
This one will be played back to Lefty, though, as there's an intention drawback from the kickoff from the Falcons. To see them looking to utilize some of that space, but unfortunately that space ran dry whenever Condors got into the face of that attack, and Daytona State now having to try to play from their own end. That's a great touch from Ian to play it even further into the Condor zone. But right now you see as the Falcons are running out of time at this point, as Condors makes yet another easy turn away, and Chunk will try to play it out. But luckily for Daytona State Beach, Daytona State Esports, holy cow, they're able to get it back in the zone.
No, I feel it. Look, man, we are 2 many months into winter, and I am ready for everything to start warming up.
Yup,
and I think Daytona State is also ready to feel that as well. These guys are just kind of off the coast in Florida, so maybe they can go coast to coast when it comes to the late term of this game. That first goal really has resonated. It started things off very swiftly here for Conestoga College as the Condors were able to fly high, and even as Daytona State found one, kind of snuffed that out. Even if you erase that first 7 seconds, it's still a 2-1 ball game, and there's 10 seconds to go. Daytona State looking for some momentum to go to the next game.
Certainly were at an opportunity there as Lefty had it high, but this one will actually be just an all-out commit that turns into a easy counterattack there for Condors Esports. And in this best of 7, they will win this early game to establish some of that momentum, maybe make a statement piece here to Daytona State and be like, we've been around here in NECC for quite a while, and we really want to kind of set that bar high and know that the Condors are here to play. So they will take game 1 with ease here at a 4-1 mark.
Condors, great starter kit. This is a team, again, I mentioned they missed it by 1 spot. They were 3-4 in the fall semester this time around. Currently 4-0 mathematically. You would think that they've kind of more or less put themselves in a fantastic percentage to get into a top 4 for at least a postseason berth, and they're hoping that it's going to be from a number 1 seeded position here in the East. I believe you said A, or is this B? Whichever letter of the alphabet. Okay, yeah. For a good old B. Also, a little kind of a walk back. You had mentioned, or we had talked about 4-4-5, and with Ian, do you remember Panda?
Yep.
I think they were part of that group. Yeah, so that they made that very surprising run a couple times, and everyone was like, "Is this the new breakaway squad?" And then the snowmen showed up, and then they didn't make to RLCS this year. Either way, so we'll see how all that goes. Either way, a good first game. Feels like as long as they control a lot of the extra speed that happened off the rip for Conestoga at the very beginning, might be able to have this one a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think that's very doable. based on what I've seen, I think they created plenty of chances. Ian was dynamic in that game number 1, and the rest of the team wasn't really, that far behind either. Sometimes you'll see like a full-fledged get in my backpack type of situation. Not the case, no. I think all 3 members were able to contribute in some way. Maybe not on the scorecard, obviously. They only got to manage that 1 goal, but the pressure certainly was there. Their shot count wasn't terrible. I really do think they turn around this way. By the way, Cole, part of that group as well. I wanted to point that out because just came to mind. Cole, Panda, and Ian. What a combination that was back in the day. I love following them, and here we are now seeing Ian at the collegiate level. It brings a tear to my eye.
And a wrinkle to my cheek consistently as we continue to get older, as these awesome players get bolder, going all the way into secondary education and continue to move on with their careers. Lefty has to get some power that he doesn't basically have in the tank. No boost, but no problem to at least alleviate some early pressure. That's an interesting situation. They've done it from the corner again. I love that Cyber rotated there, but Chunk really not able to get involved as this counterplay comes upfield.
Oh, Ian went for the bump play as well. You saw him up high.
Yep.
Also had some support, so as you go for that bump, even if it wasn't on target, it looked like it might have been going towards the post, you would have had a little bit of support to get that extra touch. So I did like that setup here from Daytona State. Now a pass was eyeballing Ian, but he actually took back off whenever he gained that 100 boost, and I'm not sure he got it, secured it, because he had to fall all the way back to his own end. So I would have liked to see Ian maybe stay up in that play, but Ian's had a big game number 1, so looking to just settle back into this game number 2. An opportunity lost, yes, but still early and still deadlocked here at 0.
He's taking some typical sweeper lines. You go to the goal line, look for the corner boost, and see what you can come up with. And, if you hit the guy, cool. If you 50-50 away, awesome. But, didn't have the boost there, and just kind of keeping it kosher and keeping speed as much as he can. Big 2v2, Lefty will lift off, and Ian's going to attempt to get there. He's being given a lot of space because 80 wanted the 50 on top of his skull on the other end of things. And Condors, again, having the multitude of moments to at least push back the Falcons of Daytona State to their own end, and they're aiming to bleed them dry if they can. Everyone, though, has had a very disciplined rotation, and look at the adaptation here as they actually bring this one upfield.
Yeah, Lefty with no boost in the tank, but through a half flip, through the power slide as well, was able to keep that momentum going so that way they can stay in that play. And that's kind of the idea I was trying to get out there as well. But Chunk has got space to work with. We'll take a shot, but Ian will hit all over the corner. Now he'll try to sidestep, but shielded right back in here from Cyber. And Solis will get it past midfield. Chunk needs to step up in time and does. That was a dangerous play there from the Condors, but they got out of harm's way.
Lefty has just enough to lift, and I honestly did not see any Condors available defensively. You're starting to get many more moments right now for Daytona State. That one's going to careen outwards, but collected by Ian. Love the pop step. He's got a chance to actually give it to a teammate. He's going to try and give it over to Sulace, and Sulace doesn't know how to get underneath or around that. I don't know if Ian was trying to communicate that maybe they should go for kind of a big pinch run if they want to get it directly to the nose. So, as you take those individual mechanical moments, you got to figure out how you're going to get your teammate the ball as well.
Hey, with the touch will set himself up here. Chunk looking to follow up in that same vein, and 80 by the time he's able to cycle around. Ian has played it to the other wall. Will be met with a force by Cyber. Chunk off the hood of his car trying to set himself up yet again. 80 off the ceiling, was looking for support from Chunk, but made the right decision to just drop back down, play to the defensive side, and that's what gives him numbers here. And also the 100 boost there in the corner. Oh, way out to midfield. Was able to beat 1, make it 2, but falling the hands of the third man there as well. Great carry play, but Daytona State was ready for it, and the Falcons still trying to maintain a little bit of this pressure. It's been end-to-end Rocket League from the get-go. In this battle, you feel like it might break through at some point. It's starting to feel a little bit eager on both sides here. We took down 1:15 left, and there it is. I sensed it coming, and Cyber got it done.
I was thinking this would eventually either be who overcommitted the third man or who just couldn't collect, and unfortunately for Lefty, that touch was too far and in forward, and when they got underneath that ball, they cut it behind them, and it became a free shot opportunity for Cyber. So one little mistake becomes one big effort, trying for a big booming shot. Lefty can't get it between the pipes as they had to catch it in stride. And now we're at the minute mark. Does that bump turn into more? It goes top 90, but they can't crank it in.
Oh, and Solis couldn't react in time. I don't think he thought that was going to make it all the way back to him. And really had an open cage if he tried to turn on it. But this one Off the back wall, another grand opportunity from Daytona State. Still nothing to show for it. Ian will turn it back in. And Condor wasn't able to get there very speedy. It took him a minute, but 80 will eventually get to it as we tick down under 40 seconds.
Cyber and the rest of the Condor is going to try and just pin back the Falcons. Ian hoping for one extra connection. He's going to leave it to a teammate. That's a smarter move, but it's done as swiftly as he might be able to catch it. Double commit between Ian and Sulace, and now they actually have Ian. Oh my goodness, they're trying for the dunk downwards. That does catch Sulis just out of position as he's way upfield, and Bear, it's just a 1-0. It might be enough, though, for Conestoga College. Depends on what they can do with this. That becomes a clear opportunity. Can they get this beyond midfield?
They got numbers. This one will be bouncing high. Under 5 seconds left. 80 looking to be in full control. This one falling down to the ground. No control or nobody in sight for the Falcons. And Condors Esports will march up to 2-0 in this series, as it didn't take many goals, like you mentioned, to your point. And the shot count's relatively easy, but the results to the Condors.
Of these teams, and you're kind of seeing that remake request out of Ian. It's like, okay, maybe it's, you know, we'll go with a little bit of extra copium just for the moment and say, all right, maybe it's not the ping that you wanted. Maybe the servers are acting a little wonky, but also now we've gone 2 games in, and at this point, there is the slightest bit of a pattern. You're seeing them not, at least finalizing some of those runs. I feel like we've had a lot more calm on the side of the Condors. Conestoga definitely is receiving, and not errantly so, to give up the free aerial space. They're meeting the Falcons up on the ceiling, and they're really shutting down the high mechanics that you get out of Ian. And there's been some weakness about kind of getting those big plays to really kind of just be done at the goal line and having a more lethal shot.
Yeah, I think, you know, accuracy has certainly been something to kind of recognize there, as Condors, they haven't had to do much. The pressure has been less immense because the grade A chances that I talk about all the time, right? You want to have those shots where you can get power on them, and that's all about positioning, rotations, being in the right spot to be able to launch a shot from a dangerous area. Otherwise, if you're just trying to, like, put pressure on, put as many shots on as possible, not always the case that you get it done. Then that's where accuracy comes in play. You finally got a couple of grade A chances there, and unfortunately, they're a little bit off the mark. So I'd like to see them come up with that accuracy, because with those bump plays that we've seen from Ian, he's got a couple of demos to free up some space. To be able to utilize some of those opportunities is the next piece in the puzzle here for Daytona State if the Falcons want to get back into the series.
I really want to see. I think we're kind of going back and forth on the pronunciations. Is it Shoelace, Sulis, or is, I almost want to say there is Shoelace and they're tripping over themselves. I want to see there just to be a moment of calm to get what is an easy shot. And look at that, Ian with a great pickup right at the crossbar. First time we've seen a good score out of the Daytona State Falcons.
Yep, just an easy double touch off that back wall and a freebie. Right on cue. You're like, hey, they need an easy one. There's no real easier one than that, especially at this level of play. So Division II NECC Rocket League won't hand you presents very often, but the Falcons will certainly be thankful for that opportunity. I said they need to be opportunistic, and they showed us right off the bat.
I mean, effectively so. Now we've had 2 7-second goals at the beginning of games. Game 1, Game 3. I wonder if that's going to just be the odd number feature. And Cyber challenging down. That's really what's kind of given moments for the Condors to profit from. But Ian, that's a setup. A teammate, well, it's a little bit hot-handed. They were hoping to get it there. This should be a solid shot, but it will fling wide. I understand, though. They were trying to do that on the immediate notice that ball was available. Ian looking for this read. It's a toughie. And, wow, we have seen actually a lot of chances just mingling around the box for the Falcons.
This happened and started happening about halfway through last game.
Yeah.
It continues. They had trouble poking it in. They got the first goal, yes. And goals have come at premium, so I was about to say, you know, you have to get more than that to beat the Condors. But right now, as long as you have full control, I always say play on your front foot, especially if you have the lead. That's what they're doing, as another feed out in front will find its way in. The Falcons showing up. That's 2 in a row.
Right off the tip of Cyber, and this time ready for the 50-50 dub. And that's what's been missing. I know that you can't be there. It takes superhuman speed and reaction time to do it at times, but when you can, oh boy. I mean, you make this physics game look just so smooth and easy. Ian's gonna aim for the midfield, and so will the Condors, but Daytona State has been winning so much possession.
And it shows with that one extra touch you just saw from Lefty, because that settles it to yourself rather than just letting it go. And it just goes out to mid, where the Condors were able to, in games 1 and 2 effectively, be able to just gain that possession directly back. So, a great adjustment from them to get those extra touches. That is a clean move there from Cyber. He sidestepped one, thought he was going to get it done. He might still, as he presses the box, but Lefty will be able to handle it. And the Condors need one back, and you can tell they're hungry for it. That one will be on target, but another big save.
Clear focus to bring that one outwards, and you have a double commit that needs to be communicated very, very quickly because Cyber was aiming for it. And this is going to be a free ball. 80 picks it up, knocks it down, cuts his lead in half. Where did this go wrong?
Chunk all the way up to the ceiling. I think it was the lack of communication. You have to have your last one back, realize that somebody was already on that from the get-go from the Condor side, and credit them for being proactive in this situation where they can't find goals to get up that high, to get that touchdown from Chunk, who set that play up in the first place.
We're approaching kind of that midway mark, and a few kind of ugly heads are starting to really come back up here for Daytona State. They've at least found some early success, so they'll give themselves a leniency mark, but you got to clean that up. Ian, triple collection up in the sky, and that will get it as much as the midline. Condor is trying to cut down on any aerial superiority that the Falcons in fact have, but Sullis is able to at least get there in a moment's notice. And as Ian aims for that sweeper line again, slowing this down into the corner could be a death knell here for the Condors.
Once more, pressure amounts from the Falcons. Chunk out to midfield. Lefty will turn it directly back in, and Ian was up in a heartbeat the challenge. Have that support as well, but Sullis couldn't quite get back up to it. Lefty try to chop it off that sidewall to get to themselves, but Cyber stood tall in the way and looking to shield it in. Great job to bump out in front. 80 was there to connect and get that next 50-50. But the Falcons ready to just swat it away with that extra touch there from Chunk. Great job to set up 80, but again, they get the big clear, and Cyber will have to go all the way back to his own side.
Scary for the Condors because that easily, with any more between the pipes accuracy, could have been a third goal just turned out. Still was not at this moment. A great find. Third man follows up. Squishy save for Ian, and it's now a foot race. Can he get there? Won't have to. Teammates already upfield. And Daytona State, that's the second time it was a clear, but this one turned around for a goal.
And that's the difference that I'm talking about, of one difference that one player can make. You bring on a youngster like Ian from the Stay Plugged In platform, and then makes a big squishy save when it looked very promising for Condors to get that ball game tied. Well, it's a 2-point sway instead. Turns out to be a cushion for the Falcons.
You're going to need to not just completely rest on it. That's for between games. You got to keep building brick by brick. Last time we saw something similar to this, Daytona State saw all their pressure become a fourth goal, and bang does it as Sullis is coming through one more time. Cyber was hoping to grab it from here, but the track down by the Falcons is too fierce.
Reverse Uno card of game number 1 here, as now it's the Falcons' turn to take a 4-1 lead. Condor still with a minute left. At this point, do you just give up? Help Monkey Man just play for momentum for the next one? You still have plenty of time. It doesn't look like they are, as that's a big dunk from Chunk to pull it back within 2.
Ain't no one giving up out here. I often change my username whenever I'm solo queuing to no forfeits. People get pissed, but you know what? It's because moments like this exist. 55 seconds. Condors, they will win game number 4 and sweep this if they're able to take the next 2 goals, because that would be a mental boom to eliminate the Falcons in game 3, but there's a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it.
They're willing to put in the elbow grease, though. You saw Sullis all the way up on the back wall. They try to challenge one and try to get a physical play going to free up a little bit more extra space. And now the Chunk, depending on that read, gets a good one. Cyber's up for the shot and will tuck it in, far side post. You called it out, and the Condors one away from being able to equalize with 33 seconds left.
Never give up, never surrender. Take every fight as if it is your last. And this one, Daytona State went from being in absolute control in 4-1, and now it is a sweat fest. Condors, they have the leniency to lose a game. They have a chance to maybe completely clip the wings of the Falcons. 23 seconds to go. You gotta play cleanly, and you gotta play like opportunists. What a save by Ian.
That was incredible read. Otherwise, as dangerous as it still is. Chunk should have been able to get to it next, but thought that they were going to touch. It served as a fake. And now Daytona State just has to kill off this clock, but can they get it done? As 80 marches directly back into their zone. Has an opportunity, a bump play, looks for another one. It was out in front of the box. Cyber keeps it alive. Extra touch, shut down by Lefty. Chunk finds 80. Shots there on target, but a big save on the backside. Ian again with two major defensive plays there for Daytona State, and they hold on by the skin of their teeth.
Freshmen keeping everyone in this game. I am telling you right now, Bear, if they took that to OT and won, this series would have been over, and I don't even care that another game exists, because that ruins you. You're like, no, we're finally playing good. But Condors spreading their wings, absolutely flying. And reminder, this is the first time that they're actually coming into the NECC. They played in, I think, another junior college conference, and they used a lot of that extra experience and brought it in from the fall. And they're like, you know what? We'll challenge anyone. Condors, a program that fell just short of making playoffs last time and desperately needed to really kind of get themselves in a good national highlight, now find themselves being challenged. Daytona State, got to make sure they can close out the game.
They did that time. It was not exactly how they drew it up, though. It was getting dangerous there for quite a second. But yeah, Ian, the youngster, showing up into a couple of huge saves there towards the tail end will definitely get you going as far as the comms go. So, they'll ride into it regardless of the momentum that started the builds. I think just those two big moments is enough to kind of hold off that train that might be working its way down by slowly easing them off the brakes. But either way, Condors, they're going to be around. This is shaping up to be that exact 4-0 to 4-0 matchup that we thought it was going to be coming in.
Who has the greater mental fortitude? That's what I want to see, because Condors feels like they've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, but now they're trying to get maybe the ribbon and the trophy that goes along with it. Daytona State showing a bit of youth and a bit of maturity still needed at times, but definitely that the mechanics are there. Lefty trying to take that one out as it immediately kind of showed itself, but just couldn't quite get the goal.
Boy, Chunk settled that too. It left an opening there from Daytona State as they weren't able to make a move in time to really get past one. Chunk is now eyeballing Cyber. Great pass back down. There's two members of the Falcons ready to pounce on it. 80 still on this sidewall, though. Gets flip reset, has it in hand, lets it drop down. Not sure if they did or not, but either way, the right move was to pull it right back down to the ground, try a ground pinch, and maybe you find a little bit of extra space because everything else was suffocatingly just cut off in that last sequence.
I think they were trying to burn through the rest of the boost so they could actually connect before that floor pinch, and then they just couldn't make up the distance. It's tough. Once your car starts basically moving laterally, you're kind of stuck, especially if you don't have enough boost in the sky. So either way, we move forward into a minute 15 and more now burn here in game number 4. A very pivotal one, because either Condors will get to match point or Daytona State will see themselves all tied up. Either way, we're getting what the ticket value was here going into this Week 5 matchup at the beginning of this NECC bout. Ian with the catch, and it feels like he went to kind of a comfort car. I think he traded out from Octane to Finnick, just trying to have that look good, feel good moment.
Definitely, that's a floater. A little bit more dangerous than it had to be. Ian right back on it as well. In the corner, 80 does challenge it with a big 50-50 of his own, all the way back out the center field. Here's Ian to turn it right back in. Does have an extra touch there, directs it on target, and Cyber luckily was able to read it there from Condors, because that was a brilliant touch.
That was insane. Ian got bumped in the midst of that and still found something of life to give that ball. Teammate right behind Ian as they're at the midfield line, and so they really can't influence too much more of this, as it will be the Condors that bear down upon that midfield. So this is starting to feel game 2-ish, Bear. I don't know why, but the odds and the evens very similar across the series at this point.
It's that grindy game that fans love, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not so much, but it's a battle of attrition. Both of these teams want to make a point. We're both undefeated for a reason. Not one team in this battle will wish to be dead till the very tail end. I mean, I'm sensing that Game 7 type of vibe already off the rip. And Cyber's going to look to try to strike first here for the Condors. That's a great pass into the box, looking to still try strong arm it from that short side. But Lefty came across just in time to be able to relax a little bit, get Daytona State out of the zone. Now they'll have a chance to try to work and operate here from the flip foot.
It is millimeters and degrees of difference, and only by decimal sums of how well both these teams are able to basically get their offenses going. You're seeing some solid connections. It's been pretty much on the same pattern here from this outside angle for the Condors and where they want to shoot. Daytona State communicating well enough even when they double commit that you come up with the ball. If you send 2 players, you better be hitting that ball. Chunk is kind of left untested and unlooked at, and there's not a lot of boost. You have Solus is able to get at least to that outside corner. This will be a shot opportunity. Falls short to the wall. They didn't have anyone to complete that run, but Condors, that's the 3rd time they've rotated through this. Trying to do it again and see if they catch the Falcons sleeping.
They have plenty of opportunities to do so. They got a bully out in front too. As Cyber acted as a wedge there to clear some space, Condors will strike first.
Cyber being an absolute nuisance. He's that guy that cuts in front of me when I'm trying to charge my car. Yeah, there's only 4 spots, and that one dude went across the parking lot in Walmart to make it happen. He did the same thing. Right at the near side, clear the tiniest little gap, and what a shot to make sure that all that effort paid off. Can Ian find a moment for a teammate? No one's crashing in time. Lefty and Sullis come up a bit late, but all the defense is there for the Condors, and we got less than a minute.
Less than a minute to play. And Monkey Man, you're telling me that your car, you actually get your boost stolen.
I do.
Your
all the time. every dang day, man.
45 seconds left. Daytona State. They're on the right side of the pitch, but can they find the right side of a connection? There's a great opportunity. Sol is going to be the beneficiary of a great setup from Ian, and we're equalized.
Bango, bingo, bongo. Oh, 80, he was the front post man, and there was a lot of trust by Cyber as he was all the way backside of like that ladder 50%. Unfortunately for them, they didn't get up in the sky. They could not challenge the ball away, and that's exactly where the Condors have been trusting in a lot of those early challenges. Oh, a drop down. Cyber, you better watch out. He will try to finish those shots.
And he was right on top of it. Had that prime opportunity. This will go back into the hands of Solus. 80 a little bit backwards here. Great job to manage it to the wall. It's not enough to just get it to the corner because that angle is very much possible. We've seen it done, but still pressure on. Not enough velocity there for the Falcons, but they still look to lay it on. Can the Condors relieve this pressure? They do. We're looking for that extra opportunity, but it's over to Lefty instead, where Daytona State will play it down the field. In Rocket League. Plays it high. Chunk was up for it, but realized that Ian is just going to kill it down. A wise move to take it into overtime.
You saw Daytona State's eyes get real big right there. They thought that there was a chance to really move upfield in final 0-second moments. Condors, much the same, but it landed into the grass a bit quicker. Ian's going to be stuck on an island, 1v2. He has to take it across his own net. Dangerous, as he saw someone screaming down, suddenly twisting it upfield. And this is anything but a sure thing in the first half minute of play. Both are taking melee shots. That's going to drop! That's the math! Ian did the parabola! It hit the negative angle, and we're all tied up and going into game 5.
This man is a menace. We saw him turn into that 1v2 situation where you're forced across your own goal line. He did not care. Gets the overtime winner as well. And you can't, of course, leave out the beautiful pass from Lefty to set him up in the first place in that last sequence. But my goodness, only Ian in this matchup seems to be able to take a compromised position and turn it into a chance that eventually led to the sequence that you saw that led to his ultimate overtime winner. Ian was excellent, and then, of course, the beautiful pass from Lefty to set him up. That was just absolutely clinical.
This is a Daytona State program that I hope is investing deep, not just into the esports side, but the academics. You want to be able to keep Ian around if you can. We've seen him obviously in community side, from competition side, and especially now in the collegiate sector, and it is a variable that needs to be accounted for, especially because you have so much great mechanics, a lot of experience that is now coming from youth into a very promising collegiate career, and I want to see even more of it because Condors, they had a 2-0. It was looking like they might be able to run the table. You saw a sketchy game 3 that maybe Condors were going to bring back. This time around, OT, it took just about 30 seconds or so to decide it. But that one was going to be a sweaty one because either way, it would have been match point or a tie, and that's exactly where we land us on the ladder. So game number 5, both teams can kind of pseudo relax because it means match point, but it also means you still at least got 2 games.
That's right. Exactly right. And the way it's gone back and forth, you can't really tell. Sure, it was 1-2 and then 1-2 directly back at you, but even those didn't feel comfortable. It was an overtime winner for Daytona State. And their first win was also just by 1 goal, even though they were able to establish a 4-1 lead in that game. So no lead is safe, not in a game, and certainly not in a series.
Not at all. So Daytona State, if they win it, it's going to be close. If Condors take it, they might find some dominance, but I feel like now Daytona State has been able to find kind of an identity of how they want to work this down. They know they have to isolate Ian, and they know that they got to make it awkward, not just for Ian, but basically for both Lefty and Solis. I think that's the biggest draw, and so as they kind of really ramp up the challenge game, they're going to do it even more, really getting to the mental factor here against the Falcons.
See Lefty there at midfield, but cut off directly. Chunk all the way up to the ceiling here. This will fall down to Cyber. He'll take a shot, but Solis in the right positioning will allow them to try to work into transition, but Lefty was cut off by Chunk once more. Ian, great 50-50 out of boost, but will it matter? Getting sneaky, trying to tuck it in far side. You see Ian just creating opportunity after opportunity.
Dude is a sumo wrestler. He might as well be the new Yokozuna. Hosho Ryu would very much want to shake his hand because he was wrestling that ball out of everyone. In case you don't know who it is, I implore you, check it out. Sumo wrestling is awesome. But the first minute and a half and more right now, Barry, in Daytona State, it's been kind of even trades at midfield, and they can't exactly rely purely on those big 50-50s, like kind of oddity moments, but they definitely can create a lot of those.
They have been. And I expect no less than them to continue that as we head through this incredibly tight series. We could bounce there for the Condors, but it was red all the way. And now Ian back on him for a challenge, but unlucky bounce and the perspective of Daytona State. And 80 says, I'll take those.
At 50-50, more like a 20-80, and it was all 80 as they came up huge. They knew exactly as soon as they turned up, Ian had taken to that outside lane and wanted to get that touch. But, I mean, you give up that entire center, and 80 saw past Ian for what that challenge on that ball was and looked that there was no Falcons behind them, had a free run up to it. So the first one, drawn up by Conestoga College. Less than 3 minutes to go. Remember, this game is to obtain match point.
Certainly a turning point. Will it guarantee a win? Absolutely not, and certainly not what you're saying. But Daytona State, who's won the last couple of games, want to keep that momentum on. The last thing you want to do is surrender the Sig Condors and be facing that for 2 games straight. Lefty runs into Cyber here in this moment. Ian as well, not able to fight it past. And Lefty from the corner. Challenge so quickly from 80. Now it's back down to Cyber. Bouncer's good. 2-0 Condors as they continue to play. It's not exciting looking, but the speed just works wonders.
You say that, and I was actually kind of running through. I was trying to see, all right, who has been kind of like the guy for the Condors? Who's been their primary? Who has been the one that really gets things going? And I think a lot, and it's so balanced and varied, actually, that it's tough to do. But lead blocker this time around, it's going to be Lefty that gets, I guess, final touch. They were the one that actually kind of left it behind to Ian, and then they get the last one after they force Cyber to jump in a weird position.
Yeah, it was. We say it all the time. You don't have to actually land that bump if you do it right. Yep. Force him to jump over. And especially if you have an eye like Ian, be able to get it through. And that'll put you into a prime position. So they cut the lead in half. Ian looking to battle in as well. Get away on the gas. An extra touch. Cyber read it this time. And Solis was about to jump up for it, but he was demoed from that side of the pitch. Eliminated. Luckily for him, he'll be just respawn on the other side. Now the pinch from the other side almost lands. But John able to catch. That was certainly a spark here. Another opportunity. This time from Lefty. Equal once again with 1:39 left.
As soon as I saw Cyber with this much boost and this ball going this high, he was dead. Just dead as a doornail. And DOA as they slam dunk this one through. Lefty getting their name painted across this ball, this time a little bit more with purpose as Daytona State come back with a couple of huge shots. And you know what? I've seen Cyber. I've talked about, I don't really know who would be kind of the stud right now for the Condors. They've been kind of that guy, but they've been isolated twice. Lefty looking for a Hattie. Ian looking for a shot. but Chunk parks the bus. Good communication by Condors.
Yeah, and the half flip used as a flicking maneuver in addition to that to get out. I love that play from Chunk.
Oh,
But
oh no!
the pinball. Oh, you hate to see a pinball around like that for the Condors. Unless you're Daytona State, they say you create your own chance. Lefty got across and took the shot, and just unfortunate bounces for the Condors will put the Falcons on top.
You know who that was? That was Chunk. Ian bodied Chunk, stole the ball, set it up to have a chance. He might be able to do it off a quick flip, but that pre-flip would not get him there. And then Chunk ended up kind of slamming it on in as, full tilt, if you will, of the old pinball machine. Can they connect on this one? Yes, they surely will. As free as it's ever gonna be, and just at the 60-second mark.
Great answer back, because you just surrendered 3 goals in a row, and then you win that 50-50, which hasn't been going your way. And it's mostly courtesy of Ian, I'll be honest. We saw a good one from 80 in the last game, but this time around, when you see 3 in a row go back, you want to answer it. They've accomplished that. And we'll see if they set it up again off of this kickoff, as they do get that initial demo. Ian back there, that touch, just wonderful to be able to play it to himself on that back wall as the Condors were surrounding him.
I love that he, instead of kind of slamming it to the side wall, hold that thought, big defensive save by Lefty, but instead of doing so, he actually put it upwards. Big bump play. Lefty will have 4 goals, but I need you all to look at the freshman. In with the jump up, extra touch here, and then he bodies the last defender to give a free opportunity to his teammate.
Absolutely outstanding. I mean, hands down, one of the better performances that we've seen from a freshman at all. Div 1, Div 2, former pro, former semi-pro, doesn't matter. He has been excellent in every sense of the word, and Lefty has been right there with them every step of the way.
Lefty's been his right-hand man. Lefty looking for a kill shot. Holy cow. You know what? Sometimes you can be like, all right, this guy's been handing you stuff. Solace gives him a chance, but you got to land this on target, and he surely did.
The Falcons said, we're tired of hearing about Ian. Look, we can combine ourselves. What a pinch off that back wall. They just send it sky high. Not only that, but that's such a hard ball to aim, and they got it done. And they just continue to see these things where if you find positive results, it continues to flow. Falcons, another one too. Everybody getting involved, everybody in the goal column, and they're feeling it now.
Wow, that's massive. 5 of the goals in Lefty's hands. Finally, Ian gets one, even if it's off kickoff. It's the follow-up, and it's really been that combo nature here by the Falcons that's been paying dividends. Solace trying to get his own, even if he has the assist, but what a response, and what a break of the dam, and huge just waterfall of offense by Daytona. They will be on match point first. Condors had the first 2, but the last 3 have gone their way. So now it's about how the Condors are able to respond, or if they even can.
Unquestionably a situation where you have to do some soul searching here in the series. You've had the 2-0 lead in the series. You've surrendered 3 straight. You surrendered 6 out of the last 7 goals in that single game. In that single game, number 5, and couldn't quite get the job done, even though you were inching back and had answers for some of the situations. There's just been no answer. And as much as Ian's been contributing to allow 5 goals to Lefty, it's so difficult to defend when everybody's getting involved. You never know when the next strike is going to come from, and that's what Daytona State has done to make it difficult for the Condors. So I'm not saying it's a soul-searching effort because they're playing poorly. I'm saying it's because, holy cow, the overperformance, if you will, I don't even know if you can call it that because they came in at 4-0 from Daytona State, is really what's been shaking you up.
That's very true. And also, I mean, remember when I said earlier, if the Condors had come back completely and they were looking to do so in that game number 3, it would have been a waylay and a complete 4-0 sweep. I truly believe that's what it would have been in this capacity. Now that you've taken those 3 in a row, you survived the mental gambit and then that OT moment in that game number 4, and then number 5 was such a dominant feature. Condors have got to be on red alert. This has to feel how maybe the latter end of that fall season kind of felt to them. Got to pick up, got to put up, and if they truly want to make a postseason run and just even get kind of deep into it seeding wise, These are the kinds of games you have to show up to. They obviously know how to be able to win that kind of style here, Bear. Their challenge game is fluent, but when the way that Ian and the gang have been playing here recently, the confidence is all Daytona State.
Yeah, and Lefty is just on a heater right now as far as goals scored. So when you have everybody on fire right now, Solus been shut down as well. Ian's defense has been just as strong as his offense. Very, very difficult. You have to find ways to get them off the game, and it comes back to bumps. Not necessarily demos, because I've seen a couple of demos from the Condors, and it just resets their positions. They're very happy to play from the defensive side anyways. They've been having these dynamic plays. One that comes to mind, the Solus pinch play down to Lefty. That was an incredible highlight play. So it doesn't matter where you have them. You got to be able to get them off the pitch, disrupt what they're trying to create offensively. Then maybe you got a shot.
These awkward moments that are getting created much more often right now by Daytona State, they capitalize in force. And they definitely force back Condors to get pinched into the old bird cage. Love what Cyber does up and down this series and up and down this pitch. He has been kind of the guy. Chunk trying to do so as well. And wow, he rested on the ceiling up there. I was thinking that was going to turn into a big moment.
Looked like it was developing. I sensed it as well. Now Solus on his own inside. Cyber going to find the tail end of a great pass from 80. And a 1-0 lead here for the Condors.
Solus brought it to the wall. Thought this was kind of, the most innocent situation. But as soon as that was picked up, Cyber was ready to go. He said, oh, hey, 80, you see me? Eyes on, man. Let's hit this.
Off the kickoff to try to gain even more traction. You see Condors right off the rip doing a much better job to kick this game off of holding the possession game. And Chunk's got a rare opportunity with plenty of space. Flip reset in hand, launched it in, somehow made that save as well. Because that looks so strong from Condors, but once again, Ian in the way.
That young man just knows every angle of everything that's going to be happening. Just a matter of getting the car over to it. And also, shout out to Condors not playing conservative. I was hoping that they wouldn't. I want to see them really free the beast. Don't let the playbook go unflipped. Turn those pages. Cyber picks up where Ian was trying to get a drop in. Solus looking for a redirect. It's going to be three very boostless birds, but they are able to connect. Can Ian outpace Chunk? No. Chunk wins a very necessary boot upfield.
Oh, but that touch there from Daytona State will keep the pressure on here for Condors. They look to strike in, and Solus on the counterattack. This is where they're dangerous. Back up, another opportunity off the ceiling, and Ian with a laser. Once again, Daytona State has equalized at 1.
Ian was in full chase mode. Knew that was going to happen. Lefty sent it yard. That was actually a pre-jump, and 80 was trying to catch it. I have no idea who would have been the better defender there. Either way, you toss it with heat into the box. You make the defense respond, and the way it drops is the way it is, and ball don't lie. We've got 2 goals in the first 2 minutes. We're about to start working on a third, but Ian was to add a third to the overall board.
Again. Set up by Solus this time. There's not a single member on this Falcon squad that isn't just finding the exact right play in these moments. Very much limiting mistakes. And then when the opportunity presents themselves to finish, we said that's what's going wrong in the first couple of games. They went to the drawing board, Hail Monkey Man, and they drew up a masterpiece.
All right, you know what? I know you've seen these stick figures, but we're about to hit the old Mona Lisa. This one's going to be insane. I hope everyone's prepared for it. And they're like, wow, okay, yeah, I didn't know you could do that on a napkin, my man. So, gotta go.
With a crayon.
Yeah, I know. Look, I can barely, get the right things with a nice Uniball pin. But at the midway mark here, Bear, Condors, they cannot allow Daytona to continue dictating the pace of play because they are falling completely into these traps.
The series hasn't fully gotten away from them, but it feels like it has. Whoa, that one almost stayed out. Credit the effort from the Condors, but they still can't keep the Falcons at bay.
This is a tough one. You have to dodge the demo, and then you have to respond, and if you're a jump too late, you will be off angle, and they were praying physics would be kind, but it is a cruel mistress, mathematically and actually. Condors, they got the first, but it's been looking worse as 3 go through for Daytona State, and the Falcons, they're starting to feast where it's all famine for Conestoga.
needs something, a spark. But when I say that, we've seen answers from the Condors in moments.
Oh.
That would have been a big one. And for the sidewall, you know he's going to get that extra touch, or from the corner, rather. A chunk all the way back, couldn't connect. Once more, the woes continue. Off the ceiling it goes. Grand opportunity from Cyber. We'll have that space to work with up for the solo play. Goes down below one. But couldn't get back down to it, and no support in sight for the Condors. It would have been difficult to get there anyways. Now a chance in the counterattack. We've seen this strike on this one. Chunk will clear it out, but right back into the hands of the Falcons.
Starting to feel like Conestoga College is just doing too much. Each individual play, a possession that's not simplified, not fundamental, and I know that there's great mechanics that when you do it smoothly, it seems simple. Cyber's going to just try and win a 50-50, gets them both to jump. Second man comes through, but Ian is disruptive. He's using a couple wave dashes and small pads. He catches up, and Chunk is forced backwards. Calendars are out thinking themselves, can't figure out a way to get through the Falcons. Cyber's tossed into the backboard, and the lightest of touches by Solus, and that might be able to do it. We have a minute to go. It's within 2. You've got to start taking even more chances.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to do because those touches were prime time for Ian. But now they're able to clear it out. Now they have to get back down this pitch, but boost control not in their favor.
Ooh.
And the read's there, though, and Chunk almost made big work out of little of what he had as far as hope goes. And it might be dying here in the waiting waters. Lefty does finish. 4-1 lead for the Falcons as they look to complete their 4th straight win.
They were already on the ropes. They were eating haymaker after haymaker. They tried to push themselves upwards, but then they get clocked in the chin. Daytona State looking to take this one as long as this scoreline were to hold. 30 seconds. Condors' undefeated season on the line.
Cyber trying to tuck that one in. They need a quick goal. They know it. That's why they're all full send right now. But it looks like the deed has been done. 15 seconds to get 3 goals. And not looking like they've got the gas in the tank to do it. And a big battle here for the Falcons. They dropped the first 2 games, and it didn't look good in game 1, to be honest. But they mustered a deep performance. They got themselves going. They got themselves lit. And really worked with one another as Daytona State and the Falcons will win this series over the Condors by the count of 4-2.
Battle in the East, from as far south and as far north as we could really clearly get some collegiate competition. Shout out over to the Falcons for bringing it on back. And Condors, you know what? That's going to be a reminder that there's still work to be done. Daytona State, though, they know all about work, and even in that series, we're able to come back and make it fantastic looking. At the first couple, it was tough. Third one looked even tougher, even when they had that 4-1 lead, and it became so close into a 4-3 ultimate victory, and then they just kept their calm, their cool, and their composure to take 4 games in a row.
Yeah, it was definitely a dig deep effort from that team. There's no doubt. And Monkey Man, it just, it started to accumulate. When good things start to happen, they keep rolling. And then that's when you get that confidence. It kind of goes hand in hand. That was the difference here in this one. You saw just the little cheeky plays from Ian, the possession games. That's a telltale sign that all of the members on your team are performing. You're feeling good. Your communication is on point, and you're ready to go. The Condors, on the contrary, you mentioned you kind of get into your own head. They looked sharp in their mechanics sense, but unless you can simplify and get back to the basics, you're really just making it more difficult for yourselves. And unfortunately, they caught the tail end of that at the end of the day.
They're also on the other end of a team that doesn't have to do anything fancy to win. They just had to keep their score line up, and they very much did that. So Daytona State, they'll take that 4-2 dub, but that is just our first of 2 entries in Division II tonight, as we'll be taking a short break. It's going to be Kaiser University Sarasota White. That's a long name just to tell you that it's a team out of Florida as well. They'll be taking on the Fighting Blue Hens of University of Delaware Varsity. You'll be back with us with some more NECC varsity, or I guess Rocket League varsity competition. You know that right after this.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
Varsity Esports Car Ball Competition 5 week we go now. It's time for some more NECC as we get into another Div 2 matchup. I'm still Hail Monkey Man alongside Bear Light. As we get into this next one, Bear, I didn't realize that we have so many birds. It's aerial superiority like all night, and maybe that is what's going to be dictating our next fight coming up in Division 2.
Flying high, just like the words to bring us in and bring us out. Monkey Man, I love it. I love bringing you into this next matchup as well because you thought, 4-0 versus 4-0. That's going to be the match of the night. We got plenty of great matchups here tonight. So let's go ahead and get into the next matchup and see the rosters coming in. Kaiser University, Sarasota White. Coming in as the Seahawks, Prism, Chenga, and Kaizo. Facing off with the University of Delaware.
You took that name so well. I was ready for you to trip, and you just leapt at the door. University of Delaware, the Fighting Blue Hens with Odd, Scooter, and Stellar. I've actually seen this roster a couple different years, and this is a very strong team. They come out of a couple different conferences of competition as well, and they've joined us here with the NECC for a while. So Delaware, strong position. They're at 3-1. They're holding second place. Kaiser University, Sarasota is sneaking on their heels. Their talons? Do chickens have talons? I think they do.
They do.
We'll figure all that and more. I also think the Fighting Blue Hens are a flightless bird, whereas the Seahawks coming out of Kaiser, Sarasota, they've got a chance to maybe swoop down and peck them. So this is a battle to start climbing the ladder again. Terps Esports currently own the East A of Division 2. Both these teams, seeing if they can kind of hold that second, third competition.
Yeah, which team realistically has an opportunity to challenge at the top level? I would argue that both of them do, yes, but this is a pivotal moment for both of them to at least position themselves to make it a statement piece, basically going into the playoffs. It's the same story that we had going into match number 1, so it looks like our lovely producer, Chippy, just said, hey, let's go for the matchups that have this. I know you were part of that equation too, as far as looking at what matches might be good, and this is certainly one to watch, and we'll see it develop here in this best of 7.
In fact, next week, depending on what all happens here, it could be a battle for first place as University of Delaware. They will be going against Terps Esports that holds that first place. So we'll get to see how all that goes. And they're starting off on the right foot as they are able to get this first goal just outside the first half minute.
Yeah, an initial touch. Kaizo is handcuffed as they were just recovering. Basically got down to the ground. So that one extra touch, and rather than hesitating, it was the Blue Hens, the Fighters, able to get there as Delaware did not hesitate at all. Odds was on it. And that's how you see them get this 1-0 lead.
All right, so again, we see early starts. This time around, though, it wasn't 7 seconds. They really had to kind of collect and push back the Seahawks. Chenga looking for a redirect. That's actually a massive demo. Couldn't get Prism to turn it back in. They will cycle the same corner, but look how they stick around. Just couldn't quite make a connection as they had to navigate through traffic. And every single player from University of Delaware kind of been stuck in the cage.
Had been. Still there. The metaphorical cage there in the corner, but guys are unable to make anything known there on the offensive sequence, but the other way, Odds will get his second already as the Fighting Blue Hens looking really strong at the first 2 on the board now.
A ripper nearby. Kaizo kind of just stuck, and I felt like Chenga was in the box to begin with. They didn't have a lot of boost, so maybe they stayed further back post and with consideration to Kaizo sweeping around to kind of leap at that with more boost in their tank. But that ends up being a slow transition and nothing occurs. Kaiser, they've definitely presented a solid front that Delaware had to move through initially, but when they've come up on these counterplays here, Bear, it's been kind of simplified about the way they get these scores.
She had a little bit of space to operate, allowed him to kind of scoot around Scooter appropriately enough. This one back down to the ground, shot taken. And they weren't aware that Kaizo was there. Otherwise, there's no excuse to not be able to dive up and challenge that one. And Kaiser's brought it back within 1.
That extra touch that brought it more longitudinally and away from the corner wall was actually to the rough position out of Odds, because he went up and was looking for one extra maybe to follow the ball, but Kaizo realizing what was left behind, trying for yet another one. Both these teams going for just big pot shots. They've been coming up pretty big. Stellar wants to turn around, and they want to keep all of Kaiser planted on the ground. A decoy shot. Odds looking for a third.
Almost got it done. Chango trying to get back out the center field. This one hangs in this corner as well, and I'm kind of busy right now searching the dictionary for longitudinally. That was probably one of my favorite words that you've come up with, I think.
Yeah, it's it just means forward, but also something else. It means geographically as well. I think actually that's a real word, and I just said it bad.
That's what it was.
Well, either way, long versus short, side versus otherwise. Big demo. Kaizo gets rid of Scooter, and that could have been maybe the shooter that would have been huge. Either way, we're at beyond the midway mark here, Bear, and it's not been great clean Rocket League. It's been just, all right, how can I drop this ball into the pocket and just kind of get an open shot? Yeah,
look, still both teams definitely settling in. And there's a follow-up chance as well in that shot.
Okay.
Another prime example. That one was well high. But Odds is not going to let this opportunity pass. Still from the sidewall looking to challenge in. This one will be left on the hood of Scooter, who's just going to float it here. Kaiser was being bullied. Kaiser, rather, does get that extra touch. Now they're in the box, and Changa will come across just in time for Kaiser to at least keep it close.
There is zero respect for this defense right now. They are flying at them, and it's actually turned into a fantastic strategy because it has kept Kaiser from having any chance to really pan out. You have another rundown. I believe that was Odds that was going right behind him, looking for just a tiny little twist. But they've got to come all the way back to this defensive half. Odds will actually be the one that finds that touch. Stellar locked on an island as he chases back and forth and watches his teammates have to kind of jump over a rope. And what was a safety net, still it's all of a goal, but University of Delaware hasn't built any more bricks in the hen house.
Will establish much more. There's a attempt for the passing play, and Stellar was there. Chinga, that extra touch to fight it away from what would have been a double touch opportunity. Changa still being getting some support from Kaizo. Otherwise, I was going to say in a very dangerous, compromising spot. But going back to their in will go, and Kaiser still looking to put on the gas pedal. Odds an extra touch, but this one should create numbers the other way instead. Prism and Kaizo double commit, and that one will pass past Changa. And with 26 seconds left, they're running out of time. Luckily, they have possession.
I feel like all three of these players are in different Discord channels. Nothing seems like it's being communicated as cleanly as it should, and they're just kind of relying on quick chats. 14 seconds. Delaware keeping up the pressure, should be able to keep this lead if they do so. They are just forcing all of the Seahawks to come out from their own net. Not a lot to the backboard and not a lot in the tank. A little bit of time. If they can get this one, no. Stellar will sky it out, and that means Odds will back up, looking for one extra, but all that pressure, all that possession, and all that time on the blue half gave the Fighting Blue Hens his first win.
Prism immediately left the lobby to get a card change, and sometimes you just got to find that mood. It is a best-of-7 series after all, so you have time to kind of relax, get back into it. But it was, as much as it was like a close matchup on the scorecard, whereas 2-1, Kaiser did look unorganized, in my opinion, and maybe that's just how you get it done, is by making that quick swap and being able to get to a mindset that suits you best, because right now it just didn't look very clean for them, but that doesn't mean you can't turn it around. We've seen a series already tonight where it was 2-0, and then suddenly it was 4 in a row from the other side. You just want to be a little bit more ready when you come into a game one, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't make the adjustments necessary here.
Yeah, I don't super judge until we're done with 2 games, and then we rock into that third one like, all right, we've got a trend, something's happening. And even if it's kind of a momentum shift moment, we start actually recognizing who is going to be playing kind of up to their better part of their regular game of Rocket League. Because that first game, it looked like Delaware just kind of shock and awe campaigned the Seahawks. Sarasota was unable to really do anything upfield. I don't know what, or if there were any shots that were actually on the player that left to go kind of change their car, but there were 12 from Delaware, and they looked like they just wanted to keep peppering the backboard, the pipeline, and just anything that can maybe work its way through the net. So Delaware, if they play that game, might be able to keep Kaiser Sarasota from making much advancement. We'll see what happens here in game number 2.
And just speak volumes as to the fact that Kaiser could keep out some of those opportunities, because they weren't just like, they were peppering it, don't get me wrong, but like even still, that volume also was met with quality. So you got a lot of great chances, and so Kaiser was able to fight those off. So when you are in like a compromising position or you're down 1-0 in a series, you do want to look for those positives, be able to build off of that, make sure that you don't lose who you are, your identity in the process. And I think Kaiser does better if they're able to find a little bit of pressure of their own.
I'm starting to see better communication. That already is right up in online, because that was not a double commit. That was actually a you lift, I drift, trying to be able to take that shot from over the top of one. Prism, they run out. They're going to change out to a separate skin, and they're looking like, at least for the side here of the Seahawks, that they're in a better position to take these fights against the Fighting Blue Hens. Stellar is an awkward moment. He has to drift this one all the way to his own corner, running over the top of one, but that gives it to Odds, and now Odds with the wall dashes is trying to outpace the Seahawks.
Odds doesn't get that extra touch before Chenga got to it. Got the bump play as well from Scooter. But Stellar had to stay put from his third man position. Look at that dive from Kaiser, and Chenga will be able to clean up the loose change. So a great play in the 1-2-3 from Kaiser, exactly what they needed.
A change of the script, and Chenga finding it just before Stellar could collect. I think Stellar actually had a moment where they could have gotten there, but they ended up onto the outside angle with the expectation that that shot would come a moment sooner. So University of Delaware, this will be the first time that they allow the lead to go over to Kaiser University of Sarasota. Stellar wants to pick up. They might be able to run this one in. They do, and alone. We're all tied up.
Stellar sticking with that play. Got the setup from Odds, called them off, and then was able to get that extra touch, and then use the flip that they were able to gain to get back to that one, the air roll to just tuck it in with the hood of the car. Love that creative play and that strong arm play in addition to equal us here at 1 with 3:28 remaining. As Kaiser got that first little bit, you wanted an answer back. If you're a Delaware fan, that's what you got.
Nice little swim lane that they had through those two defenders, recognizing that they were awkwardly placed. And, you know, if physics is going to be at least your friend in that moment, then you're going to find something huge, and they did. So, good job by the Hens. Skies University is starting to look a little similar, scarily so, here on the back end of the second minute of play in game number 2. Odds trying for the rundown, and Odds honestly kind of throws the dice every now and then. He's just looking to see what the Seahawks actually will bounce away from what he starts. Same, nice extension, but Kaizo has been taking a more fundamental approach as how they rotate from outside the perimeter.
And Chenga just was forced to kind of throw it out there, and Odds right back on it too. So that's the type of situation that you're creating on the other side from those little challenges that you get from Kaiser. So Delaware trying to cash in on something of that nature, and that was left pretty loosely. Odds able to get to it. Another big strong arm 50-50. The bounce dangerous, but Prism able to clean it up here from Kaiser. They're not out of harm's way quite yet. Scooter left it. Knew that they had a better angle from Stellar's perspective. Off the back wall it'll go, but Prism able to launch this out to midfield. And Kaiser did challenge this one as well. Kaiser finally establishing some more pressure and trying to get this lead back.
That was 2 huge touches by Prism. They were being bullied for a moment by Odds, and then they had to find one before Kaiser, or rather before the other striker was going to be coming through. I think that was on Stellar. They've been doing a lot with less, but they're getting less and less in resources and in their tank to be able to advance upfield. And again, it was such a minimal offensive output. They had all of 1 goal in the previous game. So far, that's all you've been needing to have through the multitude of our games, especially this one, to have that lead. Odds finds it off their nose, and we're seeing the initiative out of Odds opening up opportunities, and Kaiser's getting a bit snuffed out. That defense guy has to show up for some counterplay.
And Prism's trying to launch that out, but no boost in the tank. We'll grab the 100 pad on the way out because that sequence had ended. But Chenga's trying to keep it alive. In fact, it's the demo as well. Kaiser an opportunity, pulled it down and tried to make a move on Stellar. But that's why you challenge early, ladies and gentlemen. Able to get in the way before anything else furtherly developed. And now with a minute left, we remain here deadlocked at 1 in a chess match.
Someone's about to flip the boards, go full checkers, and they may just slap the opponent on the other side of the table. A drop on, looking for the floor challenge. Remember, Chenga has definitely looked to be a variable, kind of a wild card. Odds is very much that and more. Mechanically sound and refining his just craft over and over again. Chenga with a soft flick, double commit. Gotta watch out. Both Prism and Kaizo, they will at least collect this ball. That could have been a much more dangerous moment there for the Seahawks.
And if Odds wasn't in the exact right spot there, Kaiser might have not only gotten away with it, but would have struck themselves. Another goal As Scooter places 50-50, not able to follow up on the 0 boost, and it pinballed around, not in the favor of Delaware, but maybe it is now, as Stellar gets the extra touch. The 50-50 left it on the goal line, but Scooter was too far back to make anything happen. Still alive, though. 3 seconds left. The loose touch as well. Changa will chop at it here, and Stellar wants to keep at it, but it might harm them if Kaiser can get to it. Delaware still on it, though, as we'll play out to midfield. Bounce off the sidewall. Changa just wants to let this fall. So does Scooter. And so a gentleman's agreement will send us to overtime here in game 2.
All right, close game number 2, but does it end quickly? Scooter, the shooter, hoping to get a chance. Odds is already up, bringing this one down. Stellar looking to get there. Wow, a near climactic opening volley here in this overtime. Bear, they immediately ramp up the pace. Kaiser University trying to use this as a full reset.
I was about to say an eruption from the get-go, but Stellar now in Odds will trade hands, play catch, and now they're on it all the way up to the ceiling. Odds, extra touch, nobody back, hello? Delaware with an overtime winner, 32 seconds in, will take their second of the series.
Kaizo desperate to have some boost. He was rotating for that near side post. Prism was unable to win anything off of the earlier challenge, and you're just not beating the odds. 2 up right now here for Delaware as they continue to just win. But this time around, I mean, at least we have the full stat sheet kind of in front of us to really illuminate it here, Bear. It's all of 1 goal short, or rather, not 1 goal. I mean, it was 1 goal short, but 1 shot short of general output. Everyone, though, having to share the load defensively. And if you are the Seahawks, I mean, it was a great start, but that was like a minute of game number 2, and then you didn't really get to do too much after that.
No, I agree with you, and it definitely certainly doesn't help that Odds is playing from the server room. I don't know if you saw he had like 8 ping the whole time. Hello?
Yeah.
Come on. Goodness gracious. Like, all right. No, real talk, though. That's not the advantage because everybody has great ping. The true advantage comes when you're able to kind of dive deep and be opportunistic. They were in this sequence. They also, in overtime, needed a clutch goal, and they were the ones to lay on the pressure there late, and that's why Delaware was able to walk away with this one, and Kaiser left on the back burner now. Not in a very good spot here. You go down 2-0 in the series. Is there a comeback possible? Yes, and the games have been close enough. And you got a little bit more pressure, so things looked on the up and up until you weren't able to break through a defense that got red hot. You got to stick with your play. I don't really think you have to change anything too crazy. Obviously, conservative hasn't been favoring you, so you want to play a little bit more bold. Other than that, though, I don't hate this from Kaiser. I just hate the scoreline, and that's about it.
Whew. It's also been so close. We've not had really a breakout game, no lopsided affairs, but it's been, you know, deceptively one-sided based around the fact that we've seen a lot more pressure upfield than we have had goals, which is out of kind of the Blue Hens. And that's because we're seeing, you know, I mean, kind of look back a series ago, Odds is like Ian. I mean, I could almost call them even in odds just to make sure that that's the other side of the coin. But in the way that they're just kind of mechanically outplaying to open up lanes. But there's a sense of calm around the way that Delaware responds and how Odds just kind of flings himself into all of these dastardly deeds.
And certainly doesn't help Kaiser that they haven't, I still don't think they've been as organized as they certainly can be and have proven to be throughout the season, right? It's just... Yeah. Once more, you called it a couple double commits from game 2. Game 1 nearly looked atrocious. Unfortunately, look at that save, though, from Prison. The extra attempt there from Scooter was a valiant one, but Kaiser was still able to get away. That was a great defensive sequence there from Prism.
Prism's been big defensively. He's found some big moments, but they've been unable to turn it into turnaway points. That is actually a chance as Odds, though, will fill the gap. Changa needs to be this guy that's unchained, allowed to move upfield, find some chances and moments as well to really get offensively minded. They've had to force their way through rotations. You're seeing at least a bump by their teammates. Stellar wants the easy drop in. Prism knows that, puts a hand up, denies them. That was an errant moment. And one of the few that we've actually gotten out of the Hens, but it's immediately neutralized.
Yeah, Scooter, that happened, and Stellar said, listen, we'll take this backwards. And I like that decision, right? Because there's plenty of space to work with there versus the Seahawks that were surrounding if he moved forward. So it was wise decision-making and making the best out of a poor situation here. And not shocked to see that we're back in this grindy no goals in a matter of minutes situation here. It's been that way all series long.
It's been a tough one for everyone. Seeing what these teams are able to ultimately do, gain going into this this matchup, because if you are Kaiser, you need this game. I feel like obviously there's a lot of comeback potential for any of these series, but this is the one. And the way that Odds is kind of playing lights out, everyone's playing confidently behind their level of play. You got to score first, and then you got to make sure you kind of brick up the defensive wall. Prism, no, it's Kaiser with the rundown. Changa was hoping to challenge that midfield. Biggest thing that's happening for Kaiser Sarasota, they have not let one through, and they've actually seen the other side of the field.
Scooter going to try to end that run by just simply holding on to possession there off the ceiling. Look at the challenge in there from Stellar. Shut down from Prism. Now the Seahawks. Look at the work in transition. A couple of opportunities there, but Kaizo's could not quite get on target before Scooter fought that one off. Now the Kaiser's getting the good looks. It's a similar story where they can't quite finish. Looking to get some pressure out in front. Left in a 1v1, but good recovery effort there as Odds had basically came out of nowhere to swat that one away.
That was a big chance. And this is also Prism that's becoming much larger than they were several games ago. They were looking to work off of Changa's efforts. Prism maybe back over to Changa if they can. Kaiser will fill the gap, and Prism is actually going to be there defensively because they just got demoed. So no love lost and no issue really, and they actually come up with Kaizo getting a demo. Changa's underneath this, should have a free look, looking for the double tap, maybe a triple, can't quite get there. Oh no, then it just squirts the other way. Blue Hens send the Seahawks packing.
Changa did all that work. Didn't quite get the foot Breeze said either. If they did, they would have had an opportunity for that third touch. And you are so trusting that the rest of your team is going to be back in a defensive rotation to be able to get to that one easily. But credit the velocity that they put on that shot and the recognition that there was nobody back from Kaiser in Delaware. Now looking to add to it, but Prism once again going to bail Kaiser out.
It rains, it pours, and it's starting to be an absolute storm up here. Oh my goodness, Delaware bringing this to a tilt. And Kaiser, these Seahawks, they've got to get their sea legs about them, or else they are just going to drown under this pressure. Changa, big booming clear. You got a full boost tank, and you actually have a direct line shot. Very honest. Changa just seeing if they can get anything to maybe get this team galvanized, but they have to retreat. Odds loses possession, but we got 20 seconds to go.
You tell when things are not going your way that you really focus on shots that typically are just ones that you let go. And typically you have the better success when you're not thinking about it in that moment. You just kind of naturally be. But one opportunity here. 8 seconds left. Here's Kaizo from the corner. Looking to get that extra touch. Does. Off that backside. Prism going to keep it alive. But a little bit high for Changa. The extra touch from Stellar. Now they got to go a long way. They won't even get it started. Delaware now marching their way back up in this series. We'll go up 3-0 after a phenomenal job to hold off another tight game.
2 shots. Kaiser, Sarasota White. Got to be feeling like that one. I mean, even as close as these have been, Bear, this is the most deceptively one-sided situation. And I know that feels like I'm just talking ish, but I'm not. Delaware definitely has been able to kind of put this Seahawks squad in the bag, and they have maybe, I think in total across their 3 games, about maybe 3.5 minutes of offense. And I mean, you talk about 3 5-minute games, the percentage is wildly in the other direction. Now there were some looks. They were starting to truly take some honest times, but I mean, you're getting odds that, like, I mean, Scooter and the rest of the gang are just completely confident that he's doing whatever is necessary to open up these gaps, and they're Texas-sized gaps. If you ever seen Texas Tech football the way they played, it's exactly like that.
Yeah, it 100% is. It allows them to win these close ones. And I don't think I've ever seen a series where every single game has been within 1 goal, like through the first 3, all favoring one team, and yet that team has had that substantial of a gap as far as control in the series. It's kind of crazy how Delaware feels very confident in these tight matchups. It almost feels like for Kaiser or University of Sarasota White that they need to blow up the scoreboard here with like a couple or like 3 early to really give themselves a shot to even start and think about a reverse sweep.
First sweep is going to be a long semester-wide project. Kind of like what we know for STEM out here, Bear. But
Yeah.
first game is your opening project. That's got to be the beginning of your product life cycle. Getting a goal truly is going to be kind of that beginning. And it's not like they can't get these passes. Obviously, these connections are occurring. You get at least one bait. But, I mean, you also have a 3-0 series right now. Delaware can play lights out, and they can play just kind of completely up and down this pitch.
Loud free range once again. Stellar finds just enough of room in that top right corner to label a laser on just off the hood of the car. So finding and catching the better end of these bounces has certainly favored the Fighting Blue Hens of Delaware.
Both these teams just seems like they've been trying to upgrade. And also, fun fact, both these teams were Division 3 in the fall. So this is actually an upgrade all its own to try and take a Division 2 kind of campaign by storm as they both kind of collide from what was East and Northeast conferences. They now see themselves at the forefront of success. Scooter comes in. It was a great lift, and it ends up being a 1-2-3 out of the Fighting Blue Hens.
Delaware Esports wants to deliver the final blow. And right now, they've put themselves in the driver's seat, no doubt, hands down, in prime position to be able to close out this series the way they built this 2-0 lead early. I said Kaiser University Sarasota White needed the early lead. That was bigger, and this is the biggest lead we've seen all series long, if you can believe it.
2-0. Kaiser University feels like something is just kind of broken. Comms are down, but they are not out. Not just yet. Plenty of time, and that's the most dangerous thing in Rocket League. Prism finding himself working backwards. He wanted to get ahead of that ball. It's all of a soft touch. It's going to be an easy pickup for Scooter. Looking to address it and send it over to Odds. They have a chance. Oh, no, Bear. That was one of the best looking ones. Maybe a slow roller, but Chenga will intercept and look for one of their own.
I love that they looked out for that bump as Kaizo had them in support. And even when it falls loose, Prism is able to jump onto it next because they were transitioning down the field. So they still have this good look. But can they capitalize from it? Doesn't look like it. Is Delaware able to get that connection passing that we've seen all series long? They've been great. Scooter wants to finish it now. Looking to try to get Stellar involved as well as he was backwards in the challenge. But Kaizo able to get it out. Now he's got Prism. But still, looks like the touch was more horizontal. How'd you put it? Latitudinally. This time around. And Stella finds Scooter! What a save from Prism again! He continues to give Kaiser University Sarasota White a chance.
Prism has defensive just lockdown just to a science. If he has enough time. That one with the squishy save, those are so tough to navigate. You're invert, and he does so, but it's part of the repertoire. But Prism has been looking to get offensive a lot more. Looking for a touch right here. Bouncer from the corner. It clears out with Scooter. Kaizo on the follow. Can he find another? They're taking all the space given up by Delaware, and they're starting to make use of it, but it's just a poise held by the Hens. That really has been the difference maker. Kaizo wanted to land down onto it. Changa couldn't quite navigate to that ball. It's going to be a shot by Scooter. It's a drop on, and it's going to be in too. That was so deceptive. They give it to Odds instead of going for the direct shot, and that ended up being what worked out.
Roll, Hens, roll. They have gotten all the traction, have been in full control since we kicked off this game, number 4, and a need to win from Kaiser University Sarasota White, looking like it's a little bit dry. Looking more so like they're pale white instead, as they don't know how to get these solutions going on. So we're putting another one. And now it's Delaware's series.
Delaware is at 4-0. I have no question that right now that this is going to be looking like a 4-0 to match it in the series. Kaiser University Sarasota, this squad has got to show me otherwise, because right now everything has just kind of fallen apart. Prism gets uno. That's the first. You got 3 more.
Gotta build it back. If you needed anything to get you going again, it would be 1 kickoff goal easily done.
Oh, yeah.
But it still doesn't prove to us. Number 1, it was just a wide open net. Number 2, they still got 3 to go. If they get 1 more here off the kickoff, maybe I'll start believing it. They almost did. We're going to sneak that one too. Prism makes a play even though they didn't have boost. Almost got the bump in addition. They crashed in the box. It was looking promising here. But back into the hands of Delaware, and a demo will play it all the way down the length of the pitch. Prism, opportunity, almost got that extra touch. But Shango will go right back down to him. They're trying to feed the hot hand.
Scooter was looking like me whenever I'm on the trampoline and everyone knocks me over and I can't get up. Just constantly knocked back and forth. Pre-jump, by the way, as Stellar was hoping to get down to the ground. That's a feed to anyone. Shango was hoping it would be Prism. This will go ceiling. Odds is on the backboard. Can they get the angle? No. Kaiser University has been given space. They're using that space. And University of Delaware Varsity, they are proving that it doesn't matter what they give up. It's a generous feature. Prism with a handoff, hoping to give it over to Kaizo. They are skating it across the goal line.
Still playing it dangerous. Kaiser not quite able to edge that one out either. And it's been that story like all series long where it's just out of reach. It's legitimately just like the dangling piece of food in front of the treadmill, because they will get one back here, but they're down to 25 seconds left. Are you a believer, Monkey Men?
Oh man, I want to be a believer. You know what? For the sake of Seahawks, I'm a believer.
Hey!
We're getting OT. Come on, let's go, Kaiser. I want to see this one all tied up. They got 25 seconds. Oh boy, Odds is running it down. He is here to shun the believers. Oh, the shot. Oh, the posts. Oh my gosh, the inhumanity.
The second that you decided I'm going to back this team, and suddenly it was
fault.
all chaos, all Delaware to end that thought process. But listen, it was entertainment at the end of the day. I know that's what you're going for, and that's what we got here in this series. And if you're Kaiser, University Sarasota White, this was, it wasn't as organized as you'd like it to be. It hasn't been the best game or series that you've seen, but you still stuck around, and you gave yourself a shot in every single game. Even in this one that's 6-2 right now, you made it interesting, and that goes a long way, especially with the morale as you head late into the series. So it might be out of reach right now. It's one going to be a Delaware win, but you can at least hold your head high knowing that you gave them at least a little bit of a challenge, unlike the 4-0 that we'll show you.
I should never believe in anyone, ever.
You didn't hear anything I said. You're just lingering.
I should never believe. Big booming clear. One for the road? Everyone, okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, one for the road. Oh, no, I will never believe
Why did you
again.
believe in it?
I am being punished. Never again. Okay, so and like I kind of mentioned in the midst, I think it was like the second game or otherwise, this is actually a kind of a very pivotal moment here, Bear, because as that now completes their week 5 campaign, going into week number 6, University of Delaware is going to play against the Terps out of the University of Maryland. So that with them, my assumption, maybe still undefeated, or even if they hit to 1 loss, that is a fight for first place into this division. Both these teams that we saw tonight were upgrading from Division 3 into Division 2, and University of Delaware, they had lost the Div 3 Northeast Playoff Championship against the Terps. So that is actually a huge game next week to maybe reposition the entirety of this conference going very near the playoffs.
All the eyes are going to be on those 3 teams. I mean, it'll be a battle of attrition for between those 3 moving forward for sure. We want to let you know that NECC is graciously sponsored by Winsel's Farm. So make sure you grab a snacks dip. They are absolutely packed with protein. You 100% need to try one of those. Winsel's Farms is where you get it. So go ahead and search that in your Google bars right now. Open another tab and show some support to the ones that are supporting NECC and making this all possible. Along with G Fuel as well. Of course, you saw the code a little bit earlier. It'll be over my left shoulder, your right, from your perspective. There it is, NECC 20 to get yourself a discount on NECC and also support them as the affiliates that we are to them. So again, Hell Monkey Men, match 2. It delivered. It was a 4-0. It was extremely close, and we still got more action for you, too. Tell them about it.
We got one more around the corner. In case you didn't know what it was, well, it is going to be fun because we have seen Div 2. We've seen Div 2. How about Div 5? We're going into best of 5 land after this break while you guys look for some G Fuel, while you look for some Winslow's Farm, and you just look for some more Rocket League. It's going to be the University of Wisconsin River Falls versus Illinois Wesleyan Titans. Don't go too far. We'll be back with more NECC Rocket League action right after this.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach.
Just
Grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
cause I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, cause I gotta get to you. I would climb 1,000 mountains, swim across the darkest ocean, cause I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, cause I gotta get to you. I gotta get to you.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Now that you're gone, I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem
So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do?
Monkey Man and Bear Light back with you here at NECC week number 5 for Rocket League. And we're excited to bring you the final matchup of 3 for the night. It's our final one. University of Wisconsin River Falls taking on Illinois Wesleyan, the Titans of that side. Let's check out the starting rosters here for us. Hail Monkey Man.
It's the battle of the Rust Belts, as it were, as Illinois Wesleyan Titans will be bringing it in with Kenan, Tiny, Spider, and Blitz. But some keynotes on the other side as they're coming in from Illinois, but from the University of Wisconsin River Falls with Olve, Tricky Zicky, and Fingal. Olve actually last semester was named as, I think it was the second team all-conference for the WEC. That's the Wisconsin Esports Conference. So a lot of great accomplishments across this team. And I feel like that we're going to have a solid competition in this Div 5 matchup where both teams are trying to have a great photo finish into the postseason.
These programs are well established, they're well run, and also have some ties to my Stay Plugged In boys and girls as well. As both directors are incredibly impactful in the world of esports, and so I want to give them some love because sometimes we just talk about the players, Monkey Man, but this is led by 2 phenomenal individuals, starting with University of Wisconsin River Falls. Dylan Gentlecore of that side, just a well-known keynote speaker that has been around the United States and even to Canada and other places to speak about Scholastic Esports and has made and the impact that it's made. Also talked about his strategies in recruiting and spoke with me on C2C 2023 and has been a big advocate for Scholastic Esports and that recruiting pipeline they're looking to build there for the University of Wisconsin River Falls. Meanwhile, on the other side at Illinois Wesleyan, we've got Core Kennedy, and they have just won the 2025 Phil Alexander Game Changer Award. I wanted to make sure I get that name right, but it's for inclusivity in the world of esports. Not only that, but they were a 2023 Stay Plugged In Coca-Cola All-Star coach. So very notable leadership on both sides means that this should be a heater of a matchup as we get into game number 1.
We are going from best of 7 into best of 5, and you know there's a lot of depth to these programs, and even more so, you have a 3-2 University of Wisconsin River Falls that they may be about 1 or 2 games close to being done. They had played one of them early, and because they had actually gotten a Game 5 win over, I think it was Indiana Tech Academy, they have pretty much mathematically secured themselves no worse than a top 4 position. So this kind of matchup with an Illinois Wesleyan Titans squad is about seeing if they can climb that ladder. And of course, Titans would love to see if they can get to a first place spot.
The only mascot that is not a bird tonight. Little fun fact. And also definitely stakes on the line to get you playing at your best is certainly a prime motivator of these two teams as the Titans look to break into the box. A chance shot taken. That will be handled by Fingal with the save. And Olve showing some skills on the ground too, but couldn't quite get that last flick off. But I did like that control shown by the second all team there in Wisconsin.
Ooh, and an extra effort there by the the all comp team setter, if you will, as Olve will find at least one more. So up and down the pitch, bit of travel. You know, we move between different divisions here, Bear, and it feels like we've still gotten a lot of great consistent play, considering that both these teams have a huge opportunity to go into this Division 5 kind of a conference playoff. I love the give up as well. For instead of going for that first touch, leaving it for a teammate. Unfortunately, they can't get the first one on the other end, so we're kind of just trading momentum up and down the pitch.
You can steal the first blood. It feels like it's going to go a long way, and it looks like it's going to go to University of Wisconsin River Falls. The 1-0 lead off the hood of Fingal.
That was a hot shot too. Fingal had to handle that as soon as it dropped off the wall. That's kind of a reactionary moment there, Bear. You're just looking for something to eventually manifest, even if it has to be kind of a sidewall dish. Will end up working out. So as that one goes through, finally you have a crack in the old iceberg of the coal between these two teams, and that may turn into more here quickly.
Ooh, Olve was looking for the right time to strike. So go pitch wide over to Olve. Olve is got the extra touch in hand and thanks to the flip reset. And Fingal right there in the box at challenge. I love Olve staying in that sequence there, although it couldn't quite find the back of the net, still keeping the pressure and keeping the Titans true.
Nice little quick takeaway as they also kind of spurn a would-be Titans attacker. Massive demo by Tricky Zicky. As Blitz is looking for another chance. That's actually going to come down at Olve. Can it get it? No! A little bit off target. Prime moment. Tricky Ziggy trying to get caught up to it, but Blitz is going to run this one through the ringer and into the corner. And finally, Illinois Wesleyan looking like they may have a moment, but it is again cut down by the captain.
And then just going to have to shadow back to it. Olve, the next to touch. Way up the back wall. Should be able to turn, but Fingal challenged in an instant. No hesitation attitude that's been very difficult for the Titans to handle. As Blitz will come right back down to the 50-50 and left it for Kinnan. Gonna get that extra touch, and now it'll be right back onto their hood as well. Blitz, look at the challenge in, but shielded well. They're from Tricky Zeki. Tiny Spider trying to keep that pressure on. Finally, a little bit of space to work with for UWRF.
This is a tight contest so far. This is a group that has worked well through the WEC, and then they also have to find themselves working it even more into this. Kinnan will get there first. We finally equalize, and it's at a special moment there. 1-1 at 1-1-1.
Across the board. Synchronicities feeling good. Both teams really feeling good too. It has been quite polished. Only difference has been who's been able to convert at the exact right time. And that seems to be the case here, as it feels like just the way it's been a defensive struggle that maybe the next goal will certainly work your way towards a victory. But a miss there from Blitz. We'll open it up for Zeki. But only gets to midfield as once again it's turned directly back in. And Olve will have to kind of settle things down to the side where they'll go, looking to press in forward. Now looking for that extra bump play as well. Almost had it, but Tiny Spider was able to fight it off and get the touch just in time.
Yeah, booming clear. I like that the way that Fingal's been playing. Very laterally approached and looking to just kind of be a good utility player. That nearly goes off a teammate's spoiler, and that would have kind of spoiled this equaled up game with as clean as both teams have been. Make sure it doesn't get marred by a scar at the other end of regular time. Olve is trying to keep this one nearby. Both teams have separated themselves from the ball. This is going to be a kind of a bonk from the other end, a double commit between Tricky as well as Olve, who's just trying to run it through up to the corner. Can they get it around? And that will hit the grass. You know what? We've seen a lot of best of sevens early on. This best of five, our first one will be OT, and it's been pretty darn close.
It has been. Olve, look to your top performers to try to sneak one in early in overtime. This one almost ended before it got going. And now an opportunity for Fingal there in the corner, but shut down nicely. For the Titans, still not out of harm's way. That one off the ceiling. They reacted a little bit slow. I was getting worried there for Illinois Wesleyan, but they are able to make it out here at the end of the day.
Only just, though. That one skid across that crossbar. You have a weird kind of zone issue in terms of rotation here for the Titans. That will go over the back of Blitz. He has to be bailed out by a teammate. They will keep it upfield. Great find by Kinnan. That one's going to go outside wall. Tiny Spider. They don't really have much in the tank. Don't really need to. They're just giving their teammates some time to be able to kind of rotate from the outside perimeter. And the Titans feel like, you know, they're going to be running forward with a better breath and some good fortune, considering that River Falls was not able to turn it in a moment ago.
That popper just eludes Tiny Spider. If only the spider was a little bit bigger. Yeah, they could have gotten to it, but unable. Olve the next to touch. Will bounce it past Cannon. Try to jump out and get a bump on Blitz too. Try to take advantage of the little bit of hesitation that we've seen from the Titans that could be exposed, especially in an overtime situation in a game number one, where we continue to just try to find any kind of space you can work with to be able to put one in the back of the net and take a series lead. A great opportunity, but Tiny Spider will be in full control to get that extra touch. Fingal challenge back wall, but Cannon will shut it down, and once again, the Titans will escape unscathed.
It looked a little bit dicey a time or two, but the separation for the ball for those possessions was very well measured. Nothing in panic. Blitz is trying to track down a would-be attacker here from River Falls as the Falcons Good old Friday the Falcon slinging a suitcase around, saying, "Hey, you gotta get back to business." Titans simply kind of chucking a sword at things and seeing what will stick. Fingal gets 50. Blitz is gonna come up. That's the third man committing. Kinnan has a full tank of boost. You actually see them getting chased into their own box. They're getting bullied. Not gonna overcommit from the side of River Falls. That one comes from the midfield. Gotta watch out. A shot will be coming.
Yeah, Trekkie went horizontal with that one when everybody else on his team was clearly kind of backing out. So a little bit dangerous is left to the Titans with a great spot. But now you see the Falcons. You getting seeing some of these opportunities. This one will go by the wayside, though. Titans right back up to it. But give away possession. Tiny Spider will take one as well. And even though you're able to get past one, maybe two members of the defense, there's only been that one or two moments where we've seen the third commit in awkward times. And so otherwise, it's been pretty disciplined as we or to expect, like I call it out, the leaders early in this one. And we're seeing a prime example of why that matters.
Very much so. This is two teams, good communication. Everyone kind of came in with a one to separate this field, make it feel a lot more open, and that's why we're traveling up and down, kind of like a very arduously but quickly moving pendulum. And yet it's not really been about, it's not about mechanics. It's about really kind of using that mind and eye for what the field is going to offer you. Some great just ball sense. But unfortunately at times it feels like there's been at least a couple of extra double commits, especially by the Falcons as they've given more moments to look at it. Titans are starting to really separate themselves inch by inch from their back half. Tricky's left on an island in this corner. They will take this boost from Kenan, and that really gives them a better look to trap some Titans upfield.
I like that move from Zeki as well. They pulled it down for the possession game, but we gotta look out. They can't get back. It's the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan with the overtime winner in game number 1.
Over the head of Kenan, but not for long. It is the tiniest of gaps here, Bear, to separate these teams. And that one just enough to squeak it past the Birds out of River Falls. So that's going to be game number 1. But much like our best of sevens, that's the first game that you can drop, and now you're kind of set in your ways. Also, something to make note of. Great offense coming out of the Titans. This is a team that won the Division 6 Midwest Championship in the fall. So they're trying to run with a bit of extra effort to maybe see if this upgrade into Division 5 gives them a similar result. And hey, I mean, they're vying for that number 1 seed, but River Falls is playing them absolutely close.
They certainly are. And for Illinois Wesleyan specifically, you can tell that you win championships, especially when you double up the shot count there. So yeah. The scorecard was extremely close, but the pressure was endless from that Illinois Wesleyan team. So, credit them for being able to come out on top. But that being said, I mean, situation has it. It seems like there were situations where River Falls of the University of Wisconsin, in that area, they've been able to really keep it close just by playing smart Rocket League. Their defense certainly didn't let them down, and they'll come back in knowing that they come full swing effort and put on just a little bit more pressure, that they'll be able to come out on top. And of course, the overtime is a telltale sign that you want to get back to it here as we begin game number 2.
I feel like both teams were playing a lot of, maybe not complete boomer ball, but a lot of separation created to see, all right, what do we got to do next? Is a mistake going to happen? Can we simply take a hot shot? And I mean, Kenan ends up finding something like that as a kind of a gap manifests to itself. And a soft double commit as Tiny Spider was aiming to come up, and that's some of those key moments. Good passing though. Titans aiming to take advantage of this first half minute.
Looked like Blitz forgot he was out of boost in that moment. As they went up for that one. Maybe he was trying to fake in that moment, but look at that shot launched, but Blitz gets up in time. Great reaction time. Now, Illinois Wesleyan said it's our time to make a couple saves back-to-back. We saw it from River Falls last game, even though they weren't able to come with a winner, but that's a great shot. And ain't gonna get them on the board first for the Titans.
All right. Big pickup. Olvi was trying to get that one to go a bit more back to the wall, but it bounces outwards. Becomes an opportunity to pounce upon by Illinois Wesleyan. So they were able to get that lead later term and take advantage with a lot more offensive output in game number 1. And even with a couple of good looks by the Falcons, River Falls still wanting to get on the board.
Gonna have to play clean Rocket League that, commit forward first attitude will have to be a little bit cleaner if they want to be able to do it. And this is a great opportunity. A bit of a double commit, though. And it wasn't a clear view as to far as what happened, except for that we can diagnose the communication not on point, and they aren't able to get a goal out of it. It hangs at midfield where Kanan will punch it back in, but Ove, the person you want to see back in this situation when numbers don't favor you.
Oh.
That's what, a little bit on the back foot here as the Titans moving forward.
Felt like that midfield was actually going to have a nice challenge. Just didn't quite get it kind of moving forward otherwise. Third man comes forward, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a weird moment. Olvi is going to come and at least have two solid, successful connections in succession with one another. I nearly get caught slurring and slipping as these guys as well. That's a flip where he said Kenan catches it straight up onto the undercarriage. He needs to run away from this one. He has nothing to help out, and he's got to let his teammates kind of come up, and that's been one of my few criticisms of Kenan, because they've otherwise been so quick, so fast, so efficient, nearly able to cut under the ball for another big kick up there.
Beagle did a great job to stay patient, but the problem was he wasn't able to get that extra touch. Maybe played a little bit too patient, as they couldn't quite find it. And Kenan now eliminated from the pitch. Tricky Zeki to get to it next. Here's Olve with space to work with. Not who you want to see up in this moment. Flip reset. But couldn't get back to it again, and Kanan was able to shut him down. The Falcons right back on it. An opportunity. The demo there in the corner as well, but Blitz recognized that early. Great field recognition and situational awareness to be able to come across and bail the Titans out, but for how much longer?
Eventually, something might break, because I won't say it isn't inevitable to do so. It feels like River Falls has had some looks. Can they get the run down? Olvi, it's a step too far. It was a great idea as they wanted to swing that one out from the corner, and this has been much more of kind of a elongated chess match. Not really up to the 4D marker, just simply trying to play cleanly if they can. Long, booming stretches of this field, and that's where a lot of these clears come from. You don't have a lot of that narrow and acute possession like we saw a couple of games ago. This is about how well do you work from off of this zone contention. That's a double commit. That's going to be a chance opportunity. Can't quite get behind it though, but the Titans still are pinning the Falcons back.
And the Falcons finally find a little bit of room to breathe, but then they dribbled it right to the Titans. The Titan Spider may not look like they won that 50-50, but this one will fall ultimately in the possession of Illinois Wesleyan. But take it directly back. Eagle couldn't get that extra touch, and Kanan that close to being able to get a redirect, and it looked like it was going to be close to being on target as well. Still a minute left. The Titans looking to hold off. Blitz now moving it forward. Kills more even time, even in this corner, as the Falcons now look to try to find anything. Once again, Kanan on this one. River Falls, University of Wisconsin, River Falls have not been able to get it out.
Olvi with a fantastic challenge. They're going to go for some outside boost. Another double commit. Fingal brings it down. Tricky Zeki. Can he do anything with it? You have a late defensive effort. They get him to bite. Olvi can't get a hold of the rock. That was a premium moment for the Falcons. Something that they have to pick up, even if it's just a singular touch. Kenan gets him to bite one more time. Blitz has a free look. They will make him chase it down. We're at the 10-second mark.
Now an opportunity as they're going to be able to transition it down. Here's Olve looking and eyeballing, trying to find a teammate across. Great job from Kenan to stand in the way, stand tall, but still back down where Tricky Zeki can get to it. Now we'll try to bully it. Gets the demo. That will set up Olve from an angle. No! Oh! Off the post and out. It looks so good, but unfortunately will stay that close, but still no cigar. And the Titans will hold up but just by that much.
Just a little bit. You mentioned that we had a full double up of the shot line in the previous game. This one's separated by one. Oh, and heartache. Maybe that was the taco salad I had earlier. I don't know, but that I think there was a contribution of that final half. So give it another half-second pair, and we might be still on the pitch and doing some Rocket League, but wow. Okay. You know what? Falcons got it cut out for them now as they have to reverse sweep into this mark. So, I mean, wow. It felt like Titans kind of got their one and just played very smart for basically the majority of that game.
I agree with you. Yeah. And it seems like, you play as well as you can, and then things don't go in your favor. We saw this last series as well, where it was a 4-0 finish, but then you look into the details of it, and you go back and watch that VOD, and it was extremely close. And the same applies here, as it just hasn't quite been able to manifest the way that you want it to. But Dylan Gentlecore has built a culture here in this program, has been an advocate of finding players who can absolutely 100% through all odds be able to come back into this one. And the way that the games have been so close, I expect nothing but another close one at the very least. But I'm going to predict that the River Falls gets it done. I know it's a dangerous game to play, Monkey Man, because anytime that we believe, it's not gone exactly great, at least not tonight.
I refuse to believe in anything anymore ever. So you know what? It's up to everyone else to make it work. I ain't here to have my beliefs squandered. No, it's gonna be all of your great efforts, mechanics, and the want for success. Turn it into actual success. We'll start talking, and maybe I'll start ringing a bell about some big beliefs. But either way, University of Wisconsin River Falls starting on the back foot. Illinois Wesleyan, this is becoming a pattern for them, but we're seeing small indications. Titans, they're going to find a big one here in the first minute.
They just keep punching it towards the net and peppering, and it's working because the Falcons want to kind of get ahead by speeding up their gameplay, by matching the pace. But when you do that, you kind of sacrifice positioning, like in that moment. A wide open net is not something that we've seen very frequently in this series. A chance to strike back, though, as Zeki had one in the box. Olve tried to punch it through. Fingal, an opportunity as well, was looking at an open net. Unfortunately, sometimes it's the hardest one as he went just a little bit high.
That's unfortunate because they knew that everyone had committed over into the opposite side corner for Illinois Wesleyan. This is going to be a shot that must be defended well by Tricky. They're able to find it at least in that moment. But then you have to bring it down. Easier said than done, and especially to post, 2020 hindsight analyze after the fact. Kenneth just trying to make everyone work as fast and hard as they can from off of that post. Luckily, the communication is at least here for River Falls. Fortunately, though, it's been a very high amount of time that it's taken them to get these passes as well as these shots. Olvi, they get denied. They're going to go for a second effort as Tricky hands it off.
Handed it off, but unfortunately the next touch handed it back to the Titans. But Olve right back on it here as Fingal thought he was going to beat that challenge, but Tiny Spider did a great job to manage that 50-50. Impressive forward here for the Titans, and they'll continue to march forward. Olvi, important second touch there as Blitz was waiting in the waters for his chance to try to push it forward, but it's still going to be the hand shot taken. A sneaky one from the Titans, and that's how they've been able to get away with some of these goals.
This next one is about as blunt as it can be and opposite of that, but still, yeah, you don't want to let those ones kind of purchase through. Unfortunate for them, but defensive enough. I think that ended up being a double commit where the shot just went basically well wide. Olvi hoping to carry this one deep into the box. Tiny Spider gets slam dunked on. Tricky fully commits, and Fingal is completely sprinting to get to their backside box. What could have been detrimental as a counterplay against the Falcons. They at least keep calm down. But for the moment, as we have less than a half of a game of Rocket League to go here, Bear, Titans just continue to pour it on, and River Falls has to find a way to slip their way into oranger grasses. Whew.
Tricky just getting away with being able to get that save. Olvi trying to be able to get out of this zone. Went a little bit too far away from himself, but a missed touch for the first time that we've seen in a while from Gannon. Puts it right back to Olvi. The ceiling, Yoko, extra touch in hand as well. Got some demo support. It's open. No! Off the crossbar. Finally, they punch it through. Oh my goodness, my heart was in my throat, but they did get it done here to equalize.
Don't choke on it. It may be there a few extra times. Tiny Spider caught in a weird situation. They've got to dig that one out and Fingal not a moment later. Otherwise, that might have gone away, and that could have been the mental rocker to kick the Falcons completely down. But instead, we go dead even. It's been a tough contest. It's been very tight, even though Illinois Wesleyan. There's a lot of Wesleyans out there. Have been controlling the majority of this game.
Have been in control for the most part. Falcons looking to play spoilers and keep this series alive. But Olvi has got his work ahead of him. He'll grab boost. And there have been these little crafty touches. That's what I'm talking about. Not only on the defensive side of the ball, which is what I was getting at, but also the offensive side as well. But those touches have really been the tail ends and really an effect in the cause of effect game of them being able to control their back boost. There has been no boost control from UWRF at all. And because the Titans have had that boost defensively, you see it again, 100 in the tank from Blitz, allows them to get these crafty touches, to get up, to get challenges that maybe they wouldn't otherwise. And that's why the Titans have been able to control and not have to falter to gain pressure from the Falcons.
The way that Titans score and the way that Titans get these moments, it makes you feel like, if you get that, you see that in the back of your mind, you're like, really, that got me? But it's definitely when it's in multitudes and multiplied, it's so difficult to deny it. That's going to run short of the post. It's going to go right back to that sidewall, though. Tiny Spider has a free look. It goes to an outside man. They sniff it out. Mystery solved, but it goes on the other side. Oh, Illinois Wesleyan, they may have just gotten the game-winning goal.
Punching the ticket, making it difficult, and the wrecking ball hit Tricky on the way down. That's why Zeki couldn't get back to it. And the third back also knocked out of the equation. You're right. 8 seconds left. What do you have in your bag of tricks if you're the Falcons of UW River Falls? They do have an opportunity here. Try to strike through it, but now a 0-second opportunity is all you've got left. Olvi, a good one to start this sequence, but it'll be shut down. Cannon right in the right spot. Illinois Wesleyan Titans win this series by sweep over University of Wisconsin River Falls.
Feels like every sweep we had two sweeps today, but every single game was just so darn close. Maybe save 2 that were kind of breakaways in our previous in our very first series of the day that went to 6. But still, congratulations, Titans. They will advance. I think they're at 5-1 now, maybe 4-1. Either way, there's still a 1 in that loss column, and they are definitely trying to push Valpo Esports, that is currently undefeated in this division, closer and closer towards sweating it out in that #1 seed. So liking what I'm getting out of that, that team that has grown up from Division 6 to Division 5, the teams that have really advanced upwards from the fall to the spring here, Bear, showing up today and showing up for this overall season.
Yeah, that'll put them at 5-1 for the Titans, and yeah, every team is showing up in these moments because it didn't look like UW River Falls was really intimidated in this series because they played extremely well at that 3-2 mark. They knew what was on the line. They knew the cards that they had in front of them as well, where they could move up to that 4-2 mark and tie Illinois Wesleyan Titans and then be right there in the picture. And they still will be. They'll be at 3-3, but they'll still be in that playoff picture, no doubt, and give themselves an opportunity, especially the Olvi, the way that he played. Certainly looking to kind of build around a leader, if you will, and hopefully that gameplay that we saw is able to rub off on the rest of the team. They're able to make a bounce back in future weeks here.
Definitely a player that there's no question as to why they were chosen by the WEC to join the second team for the all-conference squad. So I want to see if that, does kind of permeate into later weeks. They will have a pretty good mathematical chance to probably make the postseason, but got to make great use of late term here for NECC. But that's going to be our last one on the day. Shout out to literally everyone that joined us tonight, as well as our awesome our partners over there in Wenzel's Farm. Great. I think that they do a lot of jerky. They do some sausage. Check out all their products. They have some of the funniest commercials that literally exist on the planet. I think they should get one for the Super Bowl. Hey, help them out. As well as G Fuel. Make sure to use code NECC20 to spread the love for all of our esports action. And of course, to our main producer in Chippy that was able to put our faces in your spaces. Bear Light, tonight was a great fight, a great overall showcase of some fantastic teams.
100% was. From the get-go, like we mentioned, just every player prepared and ready to go, and that doesn't typically happen. That's just the character of every single team that we put on the pitch here tonight on broadcast, that they were extremely excited and got things bumping, and it made for a great week number 5 here at the NECC. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in as well and hanging out with us. Until next time, we got NECC happening tomorrow. Make sure that you park it right here, hit the follow button if you haven't already, and we will see you there. Good night.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't.